Right, and this movement, those lines that we were seeing, very calm, sort of neutral stances, now we're starting to see those officers with the riot gear and the police vests and even possibly some on the bicycles interspersed here. And at Jermont, I know you're with us here. Now, this is in front of the Israeli Consulate, but sort of lay out the scene for us from what you're seeing regarding this movement.
Yes, right now, Erica and Joe, I'm going to also acknowledge Superintendent Johnson, what he's exactly right. So in the last minutes, what you've noticed is that those protesters came face to face with officers. You were yelling chants of move, move. Officers in the blue helmet and the batons did not move. You can also see they broke down some of the demonstrations and or flags, the wood planks that you see the officers carrying. They do not want those to be used as devices and or weapons against anyone out here. Now, what we're seeing, where the flags are right now, police, they are taking away the flags because at this point, the demonstrators have been agitating and or disruptive and right in the faces of officers. So therefore, those flag poles and wooden poles can now be used as weapons, and you see officers collecting all of that debris so that it is not used against anyone. It's a very strategic process. We have not seen anyone actually get taken into custody, handcuffed, or anything of that nature. Police, again, doing a very thorough job of pushing this crowd back. In the last 5 minutes, this crowd had overtaken this intersection here at Clinton, but look now, police have pushed this crowd back east on Madison here, and they are now going back towards the consulate office where the original demonstration was scheduled to take place. We are keeping a safe distance as we are watching. We also have a crew in the middle, but we can hear that police are really linking arms, it looks like right now, as they prepare to keep their barrier. Bike officers, again, are in the back. We have now in the front of line, the officers are in the blue helmet and the batons. The same officers that Superintendent Johnson mentioned were here to make arrests if necessary. At this moment, I have not seen anyone getting arrested, but again, this clash, if you want to call it that, for lack of terms, is still going on. I do see commanders, white shirt officers in the middle of this as well, letting the officers know the next stage of what they're going to do. Again, if we keep our attention to where the flags are in the middle, those were the agitators in all of this. But if I want our photojournalist pans to the left, look at these, all the signs that the officers are taking away right now. You see those wood planks? They want to make sure that that is not in the ground, that is not used as a weapon against anyone. They're going to now take that back inside the building here, and now we do not have anything that can be disruptive and used as a weapon. But one thing I want you to see is now this same group, they're now moving south on Clinton on the sidewalk. While Chicago police have kept them out of the actual street, this group and those flags, they're now moving south, and you can see that's where the clash is going to take place, potentially. As Superintendent Johnson had pointed out, if this crowd moves, which it is doing now, Chicago police, they're ready. And now take a look at this crowd. I'm going to get out of the shot. We see officers in the in the blue helmets. They're in the front line trying to make sure that they try to maintain order but respect the rights of the protesters. Now, keep in mind, all of that goes out of the window when someone is either assault and or become combative with officers. And again, what I keep seeing is every time these demonstrators drop their flags with the wooden planks, officers being very strategic, picking it up, getting it out the way so that that is not used as a weapon and or something to assault anyone out here, but specifically officers. Look there, you see the combative, there's one person being taken to custody coming right towards that camera. We were looking, this appears to be the first person detained coming right towards us. What he did, we don't know. There's another person behind. So we see two people being taken into custody right now on this live breaking news coverage here on CBS News Chicago. We're going to try to work to figure out exactly what they did. We don't know if they were pushing and or being accosted towards the officers, still to be determined. But we know this group now has taken over Clinton here at the intersection of Madison. They were trying to head south on Clinton, but you can see Chicago police and all of their manpower have prevented that. Here's another person. He is in handcuffs. We see him right there. We see Mr. Ahern with the police department also taking that person away. So that is at least 3 people that I've noticed, and more are coming. These are the individuals that likely wanted to be arrested, wanted to cause issues, and now we're seeing it firsthand. We're keeping a safe distance because we are not sure what individuals have on them, and that is why we're staying a good distance. Those bike officers, they're following what's going on, but look back here at this intersection. Now, since police have taken those individuals away, look at the crowd. It's a more calm and detained crowd. Possibly CPD and those officers in the blue helmet and the batons, they have taking control of the agitators who likely wanted to be arrested in this protest. Again, I'm going to step out of the way, give you an idea of what we're looking at. And Superintendent Eddie Johnson, if you would like to jump in at any point to add in to what we're looking at, you see these officers being, officers taking people into custody, but I'm going to ask you a question, Superintendent Johnson. Where is the next step where these people will go next? Do they go straight to the police department and just, where I know you have wagons ready to transport people, what's the next step?
So the next step for those particular individuals, we have prisoner vans that are large, so they'll hold like 50 people at a time. So they'll house them in those prisoner vans for a time until they're fairly certain they don't have any more arrests, because we can't keep going back and forth. And I'll tell you this too, Jermont, if you look at, the police are being very strategic. So you'll very rarely see the guys in the blue helmets walking the prisoners back. Normally they'll pass them off to the soft hat officers. That way we can maintain that presence with the riot gear officers on the front line. That's usually how it goes. They will take them into custody and then pass them off to the softer clothes officers so we can maintain that hard presence on the front line. So those guys that were just arrested, they're going to be out there for a little while because they're not going to keep going back and forth transporting arrestees. We've got the larger prisoner vans. We don't really utilize the wagons too much unless we have to. They're going to sit them in a prisoner van for a while, and then they'll assess it. And then if no more arrests are imminent, then the wagon will go to that prisoner van and transport those prisoners away.
And let's talk about this process, Superintendent Johnson, as we saw them picking up those devices and those wood planks that they were holding as flags. That was also a strategy by CPD, I would imagine, correct, sir?
Correct. So anytime you have flag-bearing protesters or sign-bearing protesters, if you can, you're going to always take those away from them, because those wooden planks can be used as weapons against anyone. So until, if they stay peaceful, you let them, maintain control of them. But once they start getting a little prickly, you're going to see officers jump in the crowd and start taking that stuff away from them, because we don't want anyone to get hurt by it.
And let's look right now. Here back at the intersection of Madison and Clinton, we see police. They are now forming another barrier. This group was trying to go south on Clinton, but as you look here, I don't know if the picture is wide enough, you can see that they have maintained order in some fashion and also pushed this group right back in front of the consulate office. What is your observation of what the officers are doing at this moment, and is training and the plan working in your opinion?
Yes, the plan is working to perfection so far, because you have to understand, Jermont, a lot of protesters come to these demonstrations with the express purpose of either getting arrested or causing chaos, because they know that for every demonstrator you arrest, it's going to take 2 officers to take them away. But CPD has planned accordingly. Like I said, that's the reason that the helmeted officers stay in front and pass them off. But, these aren't things we haven't seen before. The ones that have been arrested so far, the way I see it right now, my observation is they weren't really trying to be violent, but just kind of disrupt what the police are doing. But these police have went through extensive training in de-escalation. So they're more than prepared for what's going on out there right now. And from what I see so far, they're doing a great job.